What you say about yourself builds your self-confidence. What others say about you builds your book of business. So if you don't have a good ability to have others speak about you, your work, your service, how you've helped them, you're literally, can sales be done there? Of course they can, but you're making it harder on yourself in that regard when you're not saying, hey, here's what others are saying about me, so this is why you should work with me too.
You are listening to Power Marketing with Kevin Lee. Kevin and his agency Did It have helped thousands of businesses win through superior marketing, as have his books, articles, speaking engagements, and the E-Marketing Association Power Marketing podcasts. Here's Kevin.
Super excited to be here today with Marques Ogden. He's wearing a lot of hats at the same time, so we may end up talking about a bunch of those different hats that he wears. But Marques, how do you split your day given all the things you're working on at the moment?
Great question, Kevin. So we have our speaking business, our coaching business, consulting, podcast. We are brand ambassador for different organizations. I'm also a father and a provider in that regard. So yeah, it's really important, I feel, for me to make sure I live by my time schedule and my time blocking, my time management, which I do very well. And it took a while to get to that, don't get me wrong, but now I've been really blessed to understand how to do that, how to equate things, how to look at things. And as a result, we've had a lot of success with different brands. And I've also learned to delegate things, right, Kevin, to my trusted team, which has helped out tremendously with me getting my time back and my allotment back. So as a leader, if you're not trusting who you're paying, then I feel you're wasting payroll.
Absolutely. That's an excellent final point. I think if you're in any kind of service business, having a great team is absolutely key. So currently, there's a lot of craziness going on in the ecosystem with layoffs and reductions in force in tech companies and agencies. Do you feel like that's freeing up a bunch of talent for those of us who are hiring to snap up?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Kevin, especially if you have a great brand and a great product and you're all about the ability, right, to take care of, your team and give them what they need, when they need it, and be able to show them that the mission of what you're doing is going to align with their why, with their mission. I call that the fulfillment perspective. When you're able to be fulfilled in what you're doing, not talking about success or money. We need money, don't get me wrong, but you need to be fulfilled in what you are doing. And when you have that type of connection, that type of aura and atmosphere for your team, right, Kevin, I feel great things are going to happen all the way through.
Absolutely. And it's interesting, there are a lot of mission-driven businesses and purpose-driven businesses. And one of the ones I see listed on your LinkedIn profile is Grind Oral Care. And oral care may not always be right at the top of everybody's list of things to do, but it is critically important. I mean, we only get one set of teeth.
Oh my Kevin. And Kevin, what's really awesome is yesterday, our product went live in over 300 Walmart stores across the country yesterday. And what's so exciting is as Walmart sees us as a real potential to shake up the oral healthcare industry, it's like a multi-billion, almost $1 trillion industry. And what's great is Grind is all about people taking care of their teeth, right? But at the same time, it's a grind in life. It's a grind to get where you want to go. It's a grind to get from A to B, B to C. And so, at the end of the day, that's what I'm all about, is grinding to get to that next level. So Grind Oral Care, I am a co-owner and I'm the chief marketing officer. It's such a pleasure to have them and be part of Grind, because like where we're going right now, right, Kevin, I feel is the next stage of the new century. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And congrats on that launch. That sounds super exciting. Another brand you got listed, which seems really mission driven, is Athlete Foundry. So I'd love you to talk a little bit about that.
Oh, so Athlete Foundry, we are a brand that is an organization that we really focus on helping athletes that want to become collegiate athletes get that opportunity, right, Kevin? No matter their zip code. And what's really awesome is it doesn't matter where you come from or where you're at or what you're doing, right? Our platform gives you the ability to close the gap and get noticed by college, coaches or things of that nature. We're not a recruiting service. We are a roadmap to help you create a plan for yourself, in that regard. And I feel that's something that really can have a lot of opportunity to discuss and do and move forward with that going in that regard. So absolutely, Athlete Foundry is all about helping high school athletes, or actually middle school and high school athletes that want to be collegiate athletes, have an opportunity.
Sure, they don't get a roadmap, right? So they need to know what to do and in which order and how to improve their visibility. So that's great. That's another mission-driven business of yours. One other theme that I noticed that runs through your activities is you seem to be really passionate about content creation, whether that's writing or other forms of content creation, and certainly your own podcast as well. So what got you to that point where you realized like content is super powerful?
Kevin, if people don't know you exist, they can never, ever buy your product. And what I tell people all the time is that, in reality, yes, you have to find ways to market, but you have to be really, really observant and look at what are others in your area. What are they doing, right? How are they marketing? What does that look like? And as a result of that, if people don't know what your unique selling proposition is, your unique value proposition, your unique buying reason, if they don't know what that is, right, they're not going to work with you. They're not. And, I really, 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 really hope people get from this conversation that you have to, in marketing, either stand out or blend in. And if you're blending in, that's no good. Because if people know that you're part of something else, there's no reason to say, you know what, I need you, I need your services. But when you stand out, that's huge in that regard. It really is.
One part of standing out in marketing that ends up being really important often is the emotional triggers, right? Because obviously you can list out the benefits of a product, and sometimes that's not super sexy, but in the end, people are often making buying decisions emotionally. So what do you find allows people to tap into that, allows the marketer to tap into that emotionality, right, behind the reason to pick A versus B?
Right. So, it's really interesting in that regard, right? So for me, what I tell people all the time is this, right? Is that Aristotle said there's 5 keys to succeeding at sales. Okay. Your character, emotion, reason, metaphors, being concise, right? And what's real is people are going to buy off of the emotion that you either make them feel or the emotion that triggers them to think about operationally, if I buy this product, if I buy this service, will it help me in my quest, in my business life overall? So what I hope people get from our interview is, in life, you have to figure out how to emotionally connect with people, either if they're a visionary buyer or an operational buyer. Now, if you connect with a visionary buyer, they're not going to need the operational understanding to want to work with you because they're like, I'm all on board, right? But when it comes to an operational buyer, you have to connect with them and get them to at least have that emotional trigger to say, okay, I'm emotionally interested. Now that I'm interested in charged up, where is the value add in me paying you X, Y, and Z for this product and or for this service?
Right. You mentioned primarily a sort of a B2B context just now. And, one thing I've noticed in B2B sales is you're not selling to the company, you're selling to a person, right? And it's how do you make that person a hero in their own organization? Because in the end, if you make them the hero, if they meet all of their objectives, then everybody's happy at the end of that. So any fun stories about where you've been able to go in and make somebody a hero?
Yeah, I remember one of my good friends who is now a top executive at a huge brand in Indiana. He was at another organization. He was let go unjustly and unfairly. And he ended up, we laughed, well, we didn't laugh at the time. I helped help him through some things, talk through some things around how he's going to do well in his new company. Old company's going to end up falling off because they're lacking some stuff. And we talked about it actually last week when I was in Indianapolis working for them. And we kind of laughed about how I told him about how to start utilizing LinkedIn specifically to get more out in front of people. And as a result of doing that, where he's at now, his new company, they're soaring with sales, better culture, all that kind of stuff, right? And then second thing, right, is the old company he was working with, well, they're now their numbers are way down. They're not effective with their marketing. They have a high turnover ratio, all because the owners were not strong enough to say, you know what, the guy who I knew who was in a higher role was a great guy. I should have let him stay in this role, but because of outside pressures, they moved him out. And now in his new role, he's crushing it. And I told him, I said, look, man, this is exactly what we talked about when you're at your old company. And now he's bringing a new culture. The new company he's at, they're doing a lot more social media, a lot more LinkedIn presence. And now everybody's happy. So it's a funny story now because when we went through that process, it was a lot.
Great. Well, 2023 is a big question mark year for a lot of folks. I mean, some folks think there might be a recession, and maybe they think we're already in one. But what has you excited about the next year? Where are you placing your punches?
So right now, what's really got me excited is the podcast, because we just, as of yesterday, as of Saturday, this past Saturday, which will be February 18th, we discovered that our podcast is now in the top 1% worldwide most popular listened to podcast, and we're only 7.5 months old. That's
on that.
7.5 months old. And so we're really digging in and leaning into the podcast, and we're leaning into, all this other type of stuff to kind of get more people focused on what we're doing there and creating opportunity. Of course, you could make money doing it, which we do very well. But beyond that, it's the value that we bring to people with conversations, dialogue, interesting stories, all those things that make people say, wow, I love this podcast. Wow, I want to be part of what they're doing. And that's what we're really focusing on.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people who are interested in podcasting in general will want to know sort of how you decide who the guests are. So what's the thought process as you plan out, putting new episodes in the can? How do you think through who the next guests are going to be?
Really and truly, it does, we don't have a formula. We really don't. As long as I feel the person is authentic, genuine, and real, they'll fit. Right? It doesn't matter if they're an athlete, retired athlete, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So we just love authentic, genuine people with authentic, genuine stories.
One theme that I've noticed is whether it's former athletes or former Hollywood or former music folks, a lot of them are starting their own businesses, either when they're retired or semi-retired. It's like they have some kind of entrepreneurial itch. Have you noticed that as well?
Of course. I mean, people are wanting to push towards what we call the American or the life or the liberty dream of having your own business. And it's great. But let me be honest with you, it's hard, right? It's really hard. And if you think it's going to pop in and start something new and have everybody love you and have everybody want to hire you or hear your podcast, things like that, you're tripping. Okay. You're just tripping because that's just not real life. Right? It's not real life. What's real life is that you got to really be into a standpoint of getting to that next level, be able to understand where you could or you couldn't go based upon how you're feeling and what's going to really be in that business, and knowing it's going to take you time to get to that next level. Right?
Absolutely. When you're doing your coaching, are there any common themes of mistakes people make or things that people forget to do that are critically important?
Yeah, people forget to actually get or to gain or to gather testimonials of their work because it's a lot, right? But here's what I tell people all the time: what you say about yourself builds your self confidence. What others say about you builds your book of business. So if you don't have a good ability to have others speak about you, your work, your service, how you've helped them, you're literally, can sales be done there? Of course they can, but you're making it harder on yourself in that regard when you're not saying, hey, here's what others are saying about me, so this is why you should work with me too, right? So like with our pockets, we've got what, almost 30 sponsors. So we always gather from our sponsors testimonials. We always put them on our website. We're always highlighting them. Like we're always doing all those type of things. So what's really important is that getting people to understand that what others say about you is going to dictate or help you to create that type of easier business atmosphere to close sales and grow your business in that regard.
Absolutely. That's definite words of wisdom there. Do you have any favorite causes or nonprofits, either categorically or specifically with a brand?
Yeah, I'm a huge supporter of the Boys and Girls Club. My first ever non-paid keynote speech for a non-for-profit was the Boys and Girls Club of Raleigh, but I'm a huge fan of the Boys and Girls Club overall because our grandfather was a volunteer for them for over 60 years of his life. So I always give back and I always dedicate my time to the Boys and Girls Club of America.
Yeah, I've heard their name come up so often recently, just as a powerful change agent within communities. So
Oh yeah.
kudos on that.
Oh yeah, they are a master of getting others to move towards unity and togetherness when it comes to communities in that regard.
Yeah, I was just the last person who mentioned the Boys and Girls Club having a big impact in his life was Prince Board, who obviously is from the music world. And apparently they just had a transformative effect on him as a youth. And so it's great to see that a nonprofit can have that much of an impact on people's lives. And have you heard any other stories or had particular experiences from the folks you've talked to, or kids have been through it and how it changed their trajectory?
Oh yeah, tons of people. I did a speaking job for the Boys and Girls Club of Rocky Mount, and I had a chance to go see some of their young kids and what they went through. And I did a speaking job for PAL, the Police Athletic League in Virginia, and they partnered with the Boys and Girls Club. So that was huge. So I've seen a lot of children, young males and females, have their lives changed for the better by going through or being around the Boys and Girls Club shield, in that regard.
That's great. That's great. Any final thoughts for businesses, marketers, coaches, folks who might be listening?
In life, always, always, always market and always, always let people know what you are doing and how you are different. People need to know that you are selling something that they need, and create a strong mission and or a strong mantra, but market from like going on the podcast, getting into print, publishing on social media, trying to get on media. Like if you're not trying to get onto podcasts right now, ladies and gentlemen, shame on you, because that is where so many people are consuming content these days. And the more you're out there, you become seen as a thought leader. People see you as a thought leader. That's when they start, instead of you coming to them, right? They start coming to you. So you got to market. But again, social media, print, podcasts, get out there, buying ads, getting out there, talking to people like Kevin. Marketing is the whole key to your business success. Once you know what your product is, what's your mission, what's your mantra, and who is your target audience. Once you have those 4 things figured out, get into marketing. Otherwise, all those other 4 things don't mean jack.
Yep, got to hit the gas. Thanks, Marcus. It was so great chatting with you. I appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me on, my friend. Appreciate it.
Kevin Lee's Power Marketing is available on all your favorite podcast networks. Kevin loves helping businesses excel at marketing. Having marketing challenges? Just like Santa in the Miracle on 34th Street, if Kevin can't help you, he'll know someone who can. Find him on LinkedIn, subscribe, or follow.